How could you be so cold as the winter wind when it breeze, yo?
After Kanye West's third studio album, Graduation, was released, he was on top of the world. The project sold nearly 1 million copies in its first week, and his Cut Stronger peaked at #1. However, fate would soon intervene, and it all came crashing down.
Surrounded by friends and family, Kanye West arrived at the True Vine Ministry Church to lay his mother to rest.
Kanye West and his fiancée Alexis Pfeiffer are calling it quits. Pfeiffer confirmed the breakup to People magazine and says she and West are still friends.
Donda West's death and the end of his engagement to Alexis Pfeiffer weighed heavily on Yeezy's mind and pushed him in a new direction. Instead of the previously announced Good Ass Job, his fourth album became 808s and Heartbreak, released in November 2008, and it's a project that still resonates today.
Hey mama, I know I act a fool, but I promise you I'm going back.
Kanye blamed himself for his mother Donda's untimely death from heart disease following plastic surgery.
If I had never moved to LA, she'd be alive. I don't want to go far into it because it will bring me to tears.
Ms. West was very instrumental in Ye's early career, and they were incredibly close.
I wanna scream so loud for you, cause I'm so proud of you, and let me tell you what I'm about to do, mama.
The theme of loss runs throughout 808s. On Coldest Winter, a tribute to his mother, Kanye delivers the album's sorrow in just a few lines.
On lonely nights I start to fade. Her love's 1,000 miles away.
On Pinocchio Story, performed live in Singapore, you can hear Kanye struggle with what he believed was the cost of his fame.
For everybody that sees you, they say sign an autograph. For everybody that sees you crying and say you oughta laugh.
To convey this pain on a record, he used a technology that was already in vogue.
I put on.
In 2008, Auto-Tune, a pitch correction technology, already ruled the charts, thanks to Florida's T-Pain. T-Pain had 12 Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 hits, including a collab with Kanye called Good Life off of Graduation. Ye enlisted T-Pain to help create 808s, but the sessions weren't always so pleasant.
T-Pain shit is weak. Like, it was real, like, it was actually pretty lyrical. I actually thought he should have put that on the record at some point. But, you know, it would have been a diss record, so I thought that was pretty fucked up.
T-Pain later remarked that 808s essentially copied his first album, Rapper Turned Sanga. In addition to T-Pain, frequent collaborator Mike Dean said West fell in love with Auto-Tune while working on Jeezy's Put On and a remix of Lil Wayne's hit Lollipop. On Put On, Kanye's verse previewed the dark themes that later became 808s.
I feel like this, but niggas don't know he's stressed. I lost the only girl in the world that know me best. I got the money and the fame, man, that don't mean shit.
West said Auto-Tune was, quote, the funnest thing to use because it reminded him of his youth. But the public wasn't so into it, culminating in 2009 with Jay-Z's DOA, Death of Auto-Tune, a track that was originally Kanye's idea. And well, Ye's stab at Auto-Tune took a beating.
I mean, why buy Kanye's album? You can basically hear it for free. Just put a tin can to your ear and lean against a Pac-Man machine.
But Kanye then is what Kanye is now, headstrong.
People have a major problem with auto-tune or me singing or me getting my ideas out, then that's too bad, you know.
I'm a maven, I know this world is changing. Never gave in, never gave up. I'm the only thing I'm afraid of. Never you way I wanted to.
Prior to 808s, Kanye's first 3 albums cemented his talent for chopping up soul samples, but he wanted his fourth to be different.
And I was like, I want to make a whole album like that just stands on its own. That's like, Love Like Down ain't sampling nothing. Yeah. Heartless ain't sampling nothing, you know.
.808's simple, no-frills beats were created with a piece of tech from the 1980s.
The Roland TR-808, a revolutionary computer-controlled rhythm machine offering more percussive variations and effects than virtually any other machine on the market.
West was introduced to the TR-808 by indie rock and pop producer John Bryan, who also co-produced West's second album, Late Registration. The machine also gave Kanye the same kicks and snares as his inspiration, 80s English rocker Phil Collins. Producers like No ID, Jeff Basker, Plain Pat, and A-Trak joined West on production. As mentioned earlier, 808s contained few samples, but a couple snuck through. On Coldest Winter, West interpolates and samples mid-80s new wave group Tears for Fears.
is made in the coldest winter. Goodbye, my friend. Will I ever love again?
Bad News sampled Nina Simone.
People talk like it's old news.
And RoboCop included composer Patrick Doyle. West, fresh off defeating 50 Cent in a playful sales battle, was in the position to move the needle of rap music.
And I was like, yo, let me stop around. I'm gonna just like make it be all melody.
The writing process involved a number of people, like singer-songwriter Estero, who assisted on Love Lockdown and Streetlights, the aforementioned T-Pain, and a lonely stoner.
He saw a common, connection with our creativity, and that's why he allowed me to work on 808s and Heartbreak.
And my head keeps spinning, can't stop having these visions, I gotta get with it.
Cudi has 4 writing credits on 808s, and his debut album Man on the Moon doubled down on his talent of delivering the feels to great effect.
How could you be so heartless?
808s and Heartbreak was a commercial success, going platinum within only a few months. Heartless and Love Lockdown are some of Kanye's highest charting singles, peaking at number 2 and number 3 respectively. But critically, well, that was another story.
Most adults said, this shit sucks. I don't ever want to hear this from Kanye West again. The kids were all like, this is finally the Kanye West I was waiting for. Boom, hip hop divides.
Rap's youngest fans, however, felt the raw emotion. Now, Kanye wasn't the first MC to be sad or depressed on a record. Artists like Scarface and the Notorious B.I.G. come to mind, but West was arguably one of the most famous rappers to do it at that time, and it was the melody that spoke to people.
And when I was a shorty, when they taught us stuff, they taught it with melody. I'm about to express my stuff with melody, and have it be a fine line where you don't know if it's rapping or what it is.
In this divide, Yeezy planted the seeds for the melody-driven rap that dominates the charts today, most notably Drake. He covered Say You Will on his breakout mixtape So Far Gone in 2009.
Why do I feel so alone? Like everybody passing through the studio is in character as if he acting out a movie role.
Drizzy later said that Kanye was, quote, the most influential person in creating his sound. And of the cover, his producer 40 said, quote, that shit was so impactful to hear him spilling his heart over that kind of production. I was like, yo, fuck it, that shit crazy, and I ran with that sound. Today, 808's downtrodden harmonizing can be heard throughout hip-hop, and it's something Kanye saw back in 2008.
If I was a new artist, I would rather have Love Lockdown than Through the Wire today. Something that mix syncopation and rhythm with melody.
Remember Kanye's point about learning music through melody? Well, it worked.
Seems like streetlights glowing, happen to be just like moments
passing in front of you, so I hopped in the cab and I paid my fare.
I was singing Streetlights really sad, like I had some shit to be sad about.
I still see your shadows in my room, can't take back the love that I gave you. It's to the point where I love and I hate you, and I cannot change you, so I must replace you.
Juice WRLD wasn't alone.
I wasn't sad because I was young, but it made me want to, I felt
sad. You wanted to feel that.
Yeah, but I was too young.
Push me to the edge, all my friends are dead.
Arguably, the biggest benefactor of 808 seems to be Kanye's protege Travis Scott. He said, quote, I skipped College Dropout and Late Registration and went straight to 808s and Heartbreak.
Was it the pills? Was it the drugs? Swim in my pain, I drown my love.
You know, you take 808s or Yeezus, where these albums got completely, panned when they came out, and then you see how they end up influencing things.
If you look at today's most popular rap songs, he's kind of right. If you want to learn more about 808s and Heartbreak, check out the album page on Genius.com. I'm Jacques Morel with Genius News, bringing you the meaning and the knowledge behind the music. Peace.